everyone, welcome. I'm super excited to bring to you our first episode in our new series, Inside the MBA. So when I first started this company, I really wanted to make sure that not only are we providing you with business concepts and tools, but that we are giving you inside scoop as to the MBA process, if you choose to go that route. So I know I joke a lot on our Instagram channel about how you guys are getting this MBA with me, but I really think that it's important that I give you guys an inside look as to what business school is about and how it could potentially help you and your business grow to larger proportions. So on today's episode, we have my good friend Joe, who I'll let give himself an introduction, but I just want to give a bit of background as to how we met. I think it's been, 4 years now? Joe is one of my first friends when I first moved out here to the Bay Area. And then he decided to get his MBA at some point at the school that I was already getting my MBA at. So I figured, why not start with him? So welcome, Joe. Thanks so much for being here with us.
No problem.
So you have probably one of the most detailed and talented backgrounds that I know of. How about you just give them a little bit of how you got to the MBA and where you started?
All right. So I from Florida. I went to the University of Florida, got my bachelor's in computer engineering. Then I went to Georgia Tech, where I got my master's in computer engineering. I moved out to California to work at Intel. I had various roles from competitive marketing, partner marketing, switched to business development, where I was working there for the last 2 years with Google on a few of their Google X projects, autonomous vehicles, drones. Then I decided to get my MBA and switch into product management. So now, as Melanie mentioned, I'm at Haas, getting my MBA, going to my second year. Just finished up a product management internship at Lyft, and now I'm going back to my second year.
Awesome. I forgot that we also have the Georgia Tech connection. So yeah. Joe was getting his master's at Georgia Tech while I was there for my undergrad. Did not know him then. So it's kind of kismet that we eventually met somewhere along the road. So listening to your background, it sounds, very ordered, very detailed, step 1, step 2, step 3. It sounds like everything was just planned out for you. I'm sure that's not exactly how it went. How did you manage those times of uncertainty in your career? After you graduate, how did you know that you wanted to get a master's? After getting that master's, how did you know that you wanted to work for Intel? Just talk a little bit about that.
So I would say that every step of the way, there was some sort of information that made me pivot to a new decision. So for instance, if you would have asked me in August of 2008 what I would have been doing the next year, I would have told you I was graduating in the next summer. So taking classes that fall, that spring, graduating summer. But I decided, so I actually met a recruiter from Intel on Florida's campus during the career fair. I was still uncertain what I wanted to do with my career because I liked coding, but I didn't want to do it every day for the rest of my entire life.
Yeah.
So in speaking with this recruiter, he was like, "Oh, you're an engineer, but you're personable. You can speak to people. There's this role called technical marketing that you should consider." So
dropping gems.
So after that discussion, I just went online, started searching for technical marketing engineering internships and potential positions that I can get into. I saw a role for a year-long co-op at Intel that started in January. So I applied, interviewed, got it, and by December, from like September to December, I went from, okay, I'm graduating in a year to now I'm moving to California for a year. So something similar that happened with me at Intel when I was in my dream job where I'm an account manager, kind of handling all the strategy for this account, which is Google. But then I realized that I kind of wanted to get closer to the product because in that role, what I was doing was Google would come to me and they would say, we have this product, do you have a chip that fits into the solution? And I had no control over what that product was and what they were developing, what its use case was, etc. So then I was thinking, okay, well, what I'm doing right now isn't satisfying. How do I get into that position where I'm the person going out and finding components for a product I'm developing? So I found out about product management, found out the quickest way for me at least was to go through the MBA route. A lot of the positions said, MBA preferred. It's not 100% necessary. I could have just applied to jobs, but I figured it'd be more direct. And I knew for a fact if I got an MBA, I would get a product manager position. So did that. Now I'm in school, and literally within 3 months of the program, I got an MBA. A product management internship for my first semester. So it seems like it's work, like everything has been like planned, but it's definitely not been planned. Yeah, I may have like a year or two vision of where I want to go, but as I progress and I find out information about what I'm doing, what's out there for me to do, then I take that information and then just make a change.
That makes sense. Okay, so you mentioned product management, which here in Silicon Valley is all the rage. Like anyone's trying to be a product manager at some company. For people that aren't as familiar with product management, can you break down what exactly it is and why it interested you so much?
Yes, so product management differs based on the company, but for me, the ideal product management position would be to see a potential problem, kind of see what a solution would be. You kind of get together the resources to solve the solution. You come up with kind of a prelim solution saying, okay, this is what I think the solution would be. You get buy-in from different stakeholders. You get resources added to your team, so actual experts in that area. For instance, what I did for the summer was work on subscription pass pricing for Lyft. So on my team, there was a research scientist who was a PhD. He had a PhD in economics, data analyst, engineer. So once I came up with, okay, this is what I think the solution looks like, then I get some input from other stakeholders on my team, bring all my resources onto my team, and then they kind of take over in terms of the actual implementation details because they have more expertise in that area. And then at that point, for what a PM would do is to then just ensure everyone's going towards the same goal or guiding everyone's on the same task. If any issues pop up, any loopholes you need to close with respect to the implementation, if you notice any errors, making sure that everyone's on the same page and you're fixing all this and you're getting everyone to the finish line to actually deploy whatever product you're working on.
Got it. And what would you say is the biggest difference between product management and project management?
So project management is a part of product management. So there's a phase where you're coming up with a solution and you're saying, well, this is the issue, this is what we need to fix, this is how we need to solve it. And then after you get the expertise on your team, then you kind of become a project manager where you're making sure everyone, you're keeping track of tasks that need to be done, but you're also thinking about potential problems that can come up. So that's where the product management role still kind of fits in, where you're managing tasks and your resources and your team, but then you're always thinking about that next step of what does this solution look like in the short term, what does it look like in the long term, where I feel like project managers may more so be involved with, let me just get this project or product out and finished and make sure everyone's on task, as opposed to really owning the product and thinking about long-term implications.
Definitely. I think one of the things that I like about product management is the fact that it's also very close to the customer, right? So as you're releasing, your portions of work, you're getting feedback from the client or you're getting feedback from the market to see how it's going. So I think that's also one of the main pieces too. Okay, so it sounds like you thought getting an MBA was the best way to get into product management, and that's exactly what it did for you. But it also sounds like it was partially the network that's in the MBA that helped you do that. Talk to me a little bit about what you believe a network is. A lot of people think that the most value that you get from an MBA is the network. Would you believe that to be true? Just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so for me, just having a network of people who are like-minded, who are different industries that I'm learning from my classmates about ways they're working in that I have zero interest in working in. But I would still, I'm the type where I still like to know a lot about anything that's going on. So even if I'm not interested in it, I'm asking them, okay, what do you do? Who knows, down the line, just having a piece of information about some random industry can help me. So, so that's what I think a network is in general, just having a group of people who are dispersed in different areas that you can rely on or call on if you have any issues or questions about that specific area. And how it's helped me so far is that and how I got my internship was I literally was Googling PM internships around September of last year. I saw the Lyft internship online. I went to my LinkedIn to find out who knew someone at Lyft. And one of the people happened to be one of my classmates who I just met.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the next day he connected me with the recruiter.
Nice.
And within like a week, I had a interview already set up with another recruiter who actually handled that position. So the network for us worked for me pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So just for me, I can definitely say that I've benefited from having that house network, because I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't have had the amazing experience I lived if it weren't for this one guy who I just met, who knew a recruiter who connected me with this recruiter.
That's pretty awesome. It essentially took a very long jump and made it like super short.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh hey, I happen to know a recruiter there. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about your road to the MBA. So when did you think about applying? How did you start applying? Was studying difficult for you? Just talk a little bit about that.
So I would say, I think it was 2015, end of 2015. I was thinking about it because that's when I started that's when I was my first year in the position I was at until I was a business development manager. One of my good friends, fraternity brothers, Sydney McLaurin, he was kind of like my MBA mentor in that he was already in this program. And then I'm thinking, okay, this is where I want to go. And I had tons of discussions with him about, what's an MBA 1? Because I keep hearing about it. And how do I get there? He introduced me to MLT. I applied to MLT. MLT is or at least the MBA prep program. What it is that it helps minorities to wade through the application process. So you get kind of training in terms of how you actually approach the MBA process, your essays, the interviews, etc. So nice. I went through the MLT, and then from there, just to visit schools I was interested in applying to, did a lot of research, and interviewed a ton of folks in the product management space who I still talk to and get advice from, work at other tech companies in the Bay Area. So went through MLT, went through the application process, and that's
the rest is history. So let me tell you about this man, Joe. This man, Joe, got into Haas and then left for 6 months. Where did you went? Colombia?
Yeah, so I quit my job last January. Normally students, what they do is they work till like July. And I was like, I'm not working until July. So I've always wanted to live in Latin America for an extended period of time. Decided to quit my job in January and just moved to Colombia, Medellin specifically. It was the best 6 months of my life.
That's so that's how you're supposed to do it, right?
I highly recommend it. Anybody who wants to go to get an MBA, if you have the resources, save up some money, move to Colombia. I have some contacts there for you. You want to learn salsa? I know some schools you can go to to learn salsa. But yeah, it was phenomenal. The best time of my life.
Yeah, I know. I definitely recommend at least taking some time off before the program starts, because once it starts, it's like back to back to back to back. Whether you're doing full time or you're doing part time like I am, it's ridiculous. I traveled probably the 3 or 4 months before. I was everywhere around the world just because I knew that traveling wasn't going to be as easy once you're in school. So, all right. So last but not least, for anyone out there that's thinking about getting an MBA, what advice would you give them?
Well, one, I would say just make sure you know why you're getting it, what your specific goal is, because it can be an expensive endeavor. You're going to be missing out on revenue or income for those 2 years, except for your summer. So make sure you know why you're getting it. You have an actual goal, that's reasonable, that you think is reasonable. And it's okay if it changes while you're in the program, but as long as you know you had that one goal prior to, and then you had some new information that forced you to pivot and go to something else. So that's my one advice, is to make sure you know why, and have it. Hopefully it's something more than just I needed to your vacation, because it's a pretty expensive vacation. But I would recommend just having a specific goal in mind, and then once you have that goal, if it changes, that's fine. But just make sure you go in with something that you feel is reasonable.
Yeah, I love that you say that, because I found that me having my company during the program has made it that much more beneficial for me. I've been able to use Minvo for classes, like class projects, which means it's free labor, but also like great minds working on some of the problems that I'm trying to solve. And I feel like it's made me that much more engaged in class, being able to think, oh, how can I apply this to my own business? Or how can I make this information that I can make available to others? So love that. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Really have appreciated the conversation. For all of you out there, definitely make sure you subscribe, click on notifications, share this if you found it interesting, and we'll be back again next month. Thank you.